Everyone, welcome to my super easy beginners series. I'm going to do something a little bit bolder, sort of semi-abstract sunset landscape. I've got a round number 10, a round number 6 and a rigger. That's what I use for my beginners series. A little piece of Bockingford watercolour paper. It's about 5 by 6 inches, this little bit. I've got my Cotman palette, which I use for the whole of this series, and that is linked in the description. So this is super easy, perfect for a beginner. And we're going to wet all the paper and get lots of colour on here to start with. This nice even coat, not too much water, no puddles, and you're looking and get it down at eye level. You don't want any dull bits. Basically you want it to all have a nice sheen. You can go over it a couple of times. Make sure you've got a nice even coat. With Bockingford it tends to be need to work a bit quicker, but because we're small we can do that. My preferred paper is Saunders Waterford, which is a cotton paper. It gives you a little bit longer. So the first colour that I'm coming in with is cadmium yellow. So any warm yellow will do the job. I'm going to bring this in. And we're going left to right, right to left, all the way across. So it's going to give us a nice base to start with. Then I'm coming into some cadmium red. I'm going to start to bring in some orange glows here. Circular motion, pushing down with the brush, gives a nice cloud effect. Wisping across gives a nice subtle effect. I'm going to bring some of this through here. So as I get towards the foreground, I want it to get bolder. So you'll notice I've not dipped back into the water at all. I'm just activating the paint and using the paint. Give that a nice rinse. Load up with a bit of water, not too much. I've dabbed off on the kitchen towel. I want a tiny little bit of blue coming in here. So this is cerulean blue, and you'll see I'm touching in and leaving. I don't want to move it too much around, so I'm just going to leave that there. If I move it around, it'll make a green, and I don't want a green in the sky. Okay, and then I'm going to come into some alizarin crimson. So I'm going to bring that towards the front to start with. So there's a little bit of water on the brush here. So it's bolding up that front section. Take a little bit just in about there. So that started defining the sky and the field, a little bit of a difference there. I'm going to come into some rose. You see the difference between the rose, just a bit more vibrant in there. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a bit of ivory black. Ivory black's quite a good colour to add in. If you haven't got it, you can use ultramarine and burnt umber together. And then I'm going to make that black, because it's a fairly warm back, a bit more warm, by adding a bit of alizarin crimson to it. So it's giving me a nice dark that I can start to come on with. So I just want to get some bits of dark in places. So I'm dabbing upwards here, so I stroked left and right there, dabbing upwards here. Starting to create that bottom section. Then if you want to lift out a sun, you can do it with a little bit of tissue. You can use a coin if you want to, or you could use a cotton bud or earbud, or just a little bit of tissue. I'm going to go with a little bit of tissue, and I'm going to lift out about there, just twist, and I've got a little sun appearing there. I'm going to dry that one off. Nicely dry. It's warm to the touch. I've used a hairdryer to dry mine off. I need to make sure that I've got plenty of this black colour with the alizarin crimson in. I'm going to start to go in dark now. Okay, so I now want to define a tree line, so I'm going to bring something in here. So straight across, so I've got a field now, and then the top can be trees. I'm just going to vary the pressure of the brush, keeping it upright, the tips to the top, and I'm just going to come along, vary the pressure, and get a nice line all the way across. So now I've got a sky and a field. So with that same number 6 brush now, I'm going to hold it like this, and I'm going to scrape the surface of the paper. So I'm going to start to get a really nice tree. The brush needs to be loaded. This is called dry brushing, and you can hear my nails scraping the paper. So that's how you know you're doing it right. A little bit of a tree there as well. If I take my long thin brush, my rigger, I can then bring in some tree trunks. I'm resting on my little finger, bringing in a few branches. You want to alternate where those branches come off, so you don't end up with them at the same place. It looks more natural if they come off at different places off the trunk. Now do one here, and you can come through and break through. So the dry brushing technique's very random, it takes practice, but it's worth persisting because it works really well for doing trees. So you see I've got some beautiful trees happening there now. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to my round number 10, and I'm going to bold up this bit at the front. So this is going to be quite painterly now. So this is a little bit of rose coming in. I'm going to start to add a bit of texture soon as well. Bring that down through that dark. Just come back into that dark mix and just add a little bit more. Rinse that brush off. Then I'm going to come into some cadmium red, horizontal strokes now, just to bring through that. Rinse that brush off, dab into some water. I want that bit to be cadmium yellow there. Bring some of that cadmium yellow through at the bottom. Make sure I've got plenty of that dark. The more times you mix up something, the better you get at it. So it's best to keep doing this. You can mix up a whole lot and not use it all. I'm going to come back in, so that upwards dabbing motion, start to create some foliage at the front. If you swap down to a smaller number 6 and dab, you'll get a different smaller detail of foliage. So it's just working through that line. Some of it will be soft, some of it will be hard, and that tends to work quite nicely. So it's given a little bit more definition now to that area. Okay, so I'll dry that one off. That's nicely dried, and I've covered up the sky and a little bit of that field with a bit of kitchen towel. So we're going to do lots of splattering now, which is great fun. So I'm going to start with my number 6 because some of you might not have some of these tools, but I'm going to show you how you do it. So load your brush up, bring your finger close and splatter. So we're going to build up some splatter at the front. I'm hitting my finger, it will go everywhere, but it's fine because I've covered the rest of the picture up. And do the same now. Load your brush up loads. Keep your finger really close to the picture and splatter. You can do it that way, you can flick a little bit as well. There's lots of different ways for you to do it. I'm going to do this with the alizarin crimson now. So that's the cadmium yellow, the alizarin crimson, the cadmium red. This is why you cover it up, because it splatters everywhere. And I'm going to do a little bit of the black, ivory black, through there as well. You can also do it with a toothbrush. So I want to show you with a toothbrush because it's a more controlled spray. So dip your toothbrush in and then you pull your toothbrush close to you. Right, if it drips like that, I'm going to show you what to do. Can you see it's spraying nicely? See how I'm not panicking that those drips have happened, because I know what to do with them. So what you basically want is a bit of kitchen towel. You're just going to dab them off quickly, like that. I'm going to go into the black. This does get you a mucky finger, but it's quite a nice way to do it. You see that lovely splatter? Then if I take my rigger with water, I can just come through all of these splatters and create a really nice effect at the front. So I'm coming through all different colours and it's just the water doing the job. So it's a real playful one. You want to vary the heights. If I take this off now so you can see it a little bit more, I'm just going to twizzle around because I find it a little bit easier when I'm doing higher ones to a point to break through painting downwards. It's just what you prefer basically. These are framing the picture. You can be really brave and take a few through and across the sky. It works really nicely. You can always add a little bit of dark into them so it really silhouettes. So this is the ivory black. And we can put some grass seed on the top. So I'm just picking up a little bit of the black to pop those in so that they really do stand forwards. You only need the tiniest bit of water when you're doing this bit. So if we bring that back round, see how lovely and loose that is, but really atmospheric as well. And it's just about balance. So I'm just taking a few more in. I aim to try and show you lots of different techniques so you can take the techniques that you like and work with them. So I'll dry that one off. There we go, all finished. A really pretty, effective and vibrant sunset scene with lots of texture and lots of fluid motion in there. There's the dry brushing technique, there's the wetting wet that you've learned today. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Please do like, subscribe and share. I've got loads more videos. I'll pop you one here and a playlist here. If you've enjoyed this so much and you want to go for a membership option, there's also that linked in the description. Thanks.